Hey.
Shabam. Shabam. Millz Grillz.
Just two white guys hanging out.
Just talking. Just doing our do.
Doing what we do.
Yeah.
I got my hair did.
Nice. I trimmed the dirt underneath my neck. Clean that up a little bit. You see on camera.
You beat me to it, man. I had this whole plan, and then it just all went to waste. I went to the LCBO instead.
You know what? You can't go wrong with that.
The place was packed. It's Friday night. LCBO is the best place to be.
Oh, for sure, definitely. So how's it going on this Friday night?
Yeah. Friday nights. I don't go to the club anymore. I just go to the LCBO.
Oh,
way
for
more
sure.
active.
Yeah.
Everybody pulls up with their fancy whips. It's way better.
Definitely. I've always had my best times when going to the LCBO and then taking the bottle somewhere. Always had my best times.
That's where the party starts, man. You go to the LCBO and then you see where the night takes you. You might end up down on Barton Street.
Nice. Yo, so for those that don't know that are tuning in, this is Millz Grillz. He's a hot producer, Hamilton. Yo, I've definitely heard these beats. I rapped at one of the ciphers. I definitely say, yo, a salute to this man because he makes some dope beats. But
appreciate it. I got the cosign from Eddie G.
I want to start off with beat programs. What is some of the stuff you use?
Yeah. Straight up, man. I started making beats when COVID started, and I used Serato Studio, and it was an entry-level program for an entry-level person off the street that knows, 4 bars make a beat. In the country world, it's 3 bars make a beat, but it was a good entry-level program. I paid $6 or $9 a month or something, and I kept it going, and it was good. But then I turned the corner. Oh, Dominican Don, what up? I turned the corner,
and before you say that, for those who don't know, when I started, I spent $40 on a program called Hip Hop EJ, and $20 on this little mic, and I recorded my first shit, $60. So those are the things that you gotta spend a lot of money. Hone your craft on the cheap shit, and then spend money when you have the skills of using the cheap shit, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can't front, man. You have to spend money to go places.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a lot, but you have to spend something. Hey, shout out Mr. Burns. To answer your question, man, I use a MPC. I use the Akai MPC Studio 2. It's basically just a 16 pads, and it's got a couple other features to it. And this is my baby, man. This made all the difference in the world. I'm doing interviews with Eddie G TV because of the MPC, and it's changed everything, man. It straight up has. So I'm just organically learning music. I'm not fronting. I'm not doing something that I can't do. I'm not going to people and saying I'm the best. I usually introduce myself saying I'm the rookie. I just want to be introduced. I just want to have a chance, So I'm taking it step by step, and I'm getting some love back. 2023 has been a good year. I've had a couple interviews, and this is great to be on NDG TV, man. I got the shirt, yo.
For sure. That's an L shirt.
And the baby blue with the yellow.
Oh yeah, for sure. So why was it beats? You said a COVID hit. What brought you to making beats?
Yeah, I have a graphic design degree. I went to college and spent $18,000 to draw on my phone. I can draw. I can do video editing. I can do a lot of stuff. But the one thing I could never do was make music, because Fruity Loops was actually too intimidating. And I didn't even give it a chance. It's just, you think you can't do something before you do it. So it was like that. And when an ad or something came across for Serato Studio, I downloaded it. I paid the little bit of money. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I have a coworker, and he raps. So I told him, hey, yo, I made 10 beats. And he listened to it and he goes, whoa, I thought you were going to be bad. He goes, you know what I mean? Like, he goes, this is better than what I expected. And then I talked to another person. And they're like, this is better than what I expected. You know what I mean? Because I don't got the look, right? Like, I don't have no history. People know nothing about me. And they're like, this is better than what I expected. So, you know, I kept making those. And the truth is, the secret, get on an email blast and get free shit sent to your email. That changed everything, man. You get sound packs, you get sample packs, and you kind of just kind of learn, right? And now I'm making shit from scratch, but you know, it's good to have a little alley-oop to start. You know what I mean? Oh,
for sure, and definitely with Fruity Loops, like I remember, I've actually tried to make beats and it's hard. I wasn't the best at it, but I tried Fruity Loops 1, and I thought it wasn't it. But then Fruity Loops 7 and on has been pretty good.
Yeah, because they updated the platform and made it more user-friendly that people can understand it, right? Yeah. I get it. It's like when I used to use Photoshop. It was a little intimidating. At first it was good. Photoshop 1 was good, and then they made it way more difficult. So it's the complete opposite of Fruity Loops, actually. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Definitely. So like when you first heard somebody like rap on your beats, what was that feeling like? Like I want to hear that you describe that feeling.
Oh, bro, man, I remember the day, man. I remember the day. It was Michael J. Fox out of New Brunswick, and the guy is a workhorse. Like, we still talk. He gave me the opportunity when nobody else did. He says, yo, I like your beats. Can you send me something? And I sent him some stuff, and he actually finished it within like 20 minutes or an hour and sent it back, and he released it on Spotify. And he's like, okay, I'm going to give you split royalties and all that. And I had everything set up. I talked to somebody first. I got my publishing. I got my SoCan set up. I had it all. Well, I still have it all, but I got it all, right? So I sent it to him, and he replied back in like an hour and had something to it. And it was just really a nice blessing to hear somebody spit on my beats, because I was talking to my coworker, and unfortunately he didn't spit on the beats. So I'm like, that was my guy. Now I got to go to the internet. And then after that, I met a platform called the Snake Pit, DA_Snake Pit, and they actually featured me as a producer, and probably one of the best beats I've ever made in my life. I released it to them, and I had 17 rappers rap on that beat, and they all said they wanted to win the competition. You know, so that was like the Michael J. Fox thing was here, and I got it actually posted on my wall. And then the Snake Pit took it to the next level, because now you got 17 rappers that have different personalities all rapping on your beat. And that was such a blessing just to hear all these different cadences and flows and voices and speed and all that, right? It was real cool, man. Like, yeah, that first moment was everything for me. And you want to get back there too, right? Like, you want that to keep happening, you know?
Oh, for sure. For sure. So I want to talk about, like, now you are part of Self-Made. Shout out to Burns in here. Like, I want to talk about that. Like, how'd you meet Burns, and how'd you become Self-Made?
Hey, shout out Steel City 905. Chantel, I see you. Yeah, man, Mr. Burns changed my life, man. I talked to him last night for like an hour and a half. I don't talk to even my wife on the phone for like more than 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Mr. Burns is an incredible person. He's been rapping for like 20 years or something, has a huge following. He's done it all. And he's at the position where he's ready to offer opportunities.
He used to actually rap. He used to rap in the 70s back with a big fro.
No.
I'm telling you, he did.
I'd love to see some more photos, man. I'd like to see that. Ironically enough, so I did a podcast with a guy here in Hamilton, and we were like podcasting with rappers and basketball enthusiasts, and we were interviewing all kinds of people, and it was like twice a week. And some of the interviews I don't even remember, to tell you the truth. We were just pushing through, and it was more about locking in the interview, getting it done, and moving on to the next person, rather than like having something memorable. So we interviewed Mr. Burns. I can't even remember interviewing him, so I at least remember his name. And then I showed up at a club to watch the High Cats, and Mr. Burns was there, and he said, "What up?" And ironically enough, another name drop, Jay Steels, spoke really, really highly of me, very high. And Burns came up to me off the strength of Jay Steels saying, Millz Grillz got something going on. He said what up to me. He started introducing me to everybody at the party. He gave me mad props, and then he gave me his contact info. And I thought, okay, this is going to be an opportunity that I can sell some beats. That's not what Burns was looking for. Burns was looking for a relationship, and I was totally mistaken. And I was kind of frustrated. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm trying to sell a beat for $20. This fucking guy doesn't want to buy my beat. He was actually teaching me. He's like, know your worth. You're worth a lot more than $20, and you have a lot more potential than just meeting somebody, selling it, and moving on, right? So I've just kept a close ear, and I've became a friend to Mr. Burns, and he's just an excellent guy giving out opportunities, and I'm not one of those guys that takes from people. I feel very, very bad, right? So I always try to do more than I take, right? So me and him, we work together, and I'm just part of the vision, man, and I love every process of it, and it's just a huge blessing to know Self-Made and Mr. Burns and everybody part of the crew, because it's a real movement that's going on right now, kind of like similar. I put it to the Eminem theory of that movie 8 Mile when he's at the church and they're rapping and stuff. That church is the Self-Made platform. That's what we're trying to achieve. Is a platform that people can go to that's established every month, and you know about it, and it's never going to change. And if you want to do what you want to do, you got to do it with Self-Made, and that will get you to where you want to go, or at least alley-oop you to where you want to go.
I definitely like your exact story you just said right there. Same exact story with me, just like slight differences of like how, but very similar. Like Burns, I met Burns, super cool. He introduced me to everybody, and that was years ago. Since then, me and him have become brothers. I look at him as a big brother, definitely one of the most solid dudes in this whole shit. So like, yeah, your whole story of what you just said, and it's not even just me and you, mad other people too. He's helped out.
So many other people, and I respect him because
everybody has
he's running this
story
platform. Oh, sorry, he's running this platform, and my claim to fame happened in April 1999, and it ran to 2012, where I ran a really successful street ball team. I know what it's like to be in his position.
Hold on. Hey, hold on. I want to get to that. I want to keep on on pace. All right. So yes. So from I want to go from Self-Made to the Steel City Cypher.
Man, the Steel City Cypher, man. Like, put it this way. When COVID started, I made beats. And my wife's like, you got to make money off this shit. And I was like, no, I don't. I need to build relationships. So I spent $5, $10, going to clubs, 10 people there, 100 people there, saying hello, networking, right?
Yeah.
The Steel City platform is completely different. You're not saying, hey, come to my show tonight. Hey, listen to my song. Because what's going to happen tomorrow? You're going to totally forget everything. What the Steel City Cypher is, it's an opportunity for artists, new, old, mediocre, whatever, to bring in. We're not asking you to big up the Steel City Cypher. We want you to big up yourself. Exactly. I mean, that's the difference. Everybody wants me. And where's your legacy? What are you trying to do? I'm not trying to disrespect. I'm just trying to big up the Steel City Cypher, saying we're doing it for the community. We're not doing it for ourselves. And we want everybody to succeed on your projects, and we're going to come to your shows. I'm going to still come to your shows. I'm going to listen to your music. I'm going to reshare it. But if you get down with the Steel City platform, it just makes you that much stronger. You know what I mean? Like the whole Eminem and Proof theory that like everybody that showed up at that church, they got something out of that church, and that's what we want to do with the Steel City Cypher is bring people in to give back even more. You know what I mean? I think we're real early. We're in the early stages, but I think it can be sky's the limit.
So I want to talk about like how has it changed from being outside during the summer to like the winter ones at the with Jay Steels?
You got to take into account that every month is completely different. We're not robots. This is not the internet where everything is the exact same every month. We want the idea of the platform it has all the qualities that you can go to each month. That's that. But you're dealing with real people, different emotions, different everything, right? So going from outside, it's kind of hit or miss. You might not get everybody because you're inviting a lot of people, and they all say, yeah, I'm going to show up, but not everybody shows up, right? And
Right.
what you notice is when the people don't show up, they're like, oh, I really missed it. I'm going to go to the next month. So building the platform that it's exactly an opportunity for people. We're really relying on people to come in. So when you're outside, it's real cool, man. You're at these different events, and you're rhyming, you're spitting. And there's all these different elements going on of graffiti and hip hop and dancing and just people watching you and people talking shit, people giving you props, networking and all that. When you're outside, it's a real cipher. Like you show up and all of a sudden you're in this circle and you're rhyming and you're just having a great time. You let loose. Now when we go inside, it's a little bit more structured because we have people that we're relying on. We have to structure it, right? So we're actually down at McMaster University doing the radio there with Jay Steels, and we bring like 6 MCs that are real popular, and we're letting them all go on one beat. And it's the same theory that you said of, you know what I mean? Like, what does it sound like to have 6 people rhyme on your beat? That's exactly what we're doing down at the radio interview, you know, versus outside. I brought like 86 songs with me when I did the October Cypher, and I only played 6 because everybody was feeling it. So you kind of vibe when you're outside, but inside it's a little bit more structured and a little bit more robotic because we're trying to get like an end product out there, which is a music video, radio interviews, versus outside you're just testing your sword, you know, and you're having fun. There's no rules to it. So it's the outside is where it's at for sure. So when the snow goes away, Steel City Cypher is gonna big time pop off this year, big time.
But also like both are needed. You know, like
both are needed.
Both are needed because then yes, the ones outside are fun, but you might not be able to like get like the best content like out of it. But then when you do it inside, and like the whole world will know, like, man, like people will be like, man, I want to go to Hamilton, like they want to travel from other cities and shit, to come to this, like, you know, like someone
that's
like,
the fun part. Yeah, we're getting people hitting us up from different cities like Kitchener, Brantford, saying, yo, there's nothing like that going on in my city. I got to get down with you. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it's definitely good to have both because then you get the internet appeal and then people see it. They're like, oh, shit, when the summer comes up, they do this outside? Okay, yo, they put it on their calendar. You know?
Don't get it twisted, though. We have a team, right? And Mr. Burns, he never stops thinking. Like, right now, he's probably got a plan for, like, 6 months from now. So just to give a little bit more away, we're taking that outside cipher, and we're actually bringing it in. So if you're going to come to the Mike Checkers that got Mike down on Kenilworth at Maine, March 11th, we're going to bring that element. I can't say too much, but we're going to bring some of the outside stuff inside. You know what I mean? So March 11th, you want to be there, holla at me.
Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
So
like now, like a lot of people have been hearing the beats. Like how is business with it? Like are you selling quite a bit of beats?
Yeah, thank you for asking, man. I don't like to talk business because I'm not selfish, man. But I can say that it's been a great year so far. In 2023, I've sold more beats already in this start of the year than I did all last year. And shout out to my man Zobi1. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. So yeah, it's been good selling, and you can make money in different ways. You don't have to just sell your beats online. You can actually go to shows, start relationships with people, and make money that way. And it's the same. Like, I can't be a producer without an MC, and an MC can't be a producer. Can't MC without being a producer. But the problem is a lot of these MCs make beats for themselves, which is totally cool. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to just get my foot in the door a little bit, you know, and say, hey, let's get some variety on your album.
Yeah. So how is it? Like, yeah, I obviously you watch the guys rap at the Cypher and stuff like that. But like when people are on like on shows and they're like and the song that they made over your beat comes on and they come on and perform, like I can just imagine being in the crowd. It's just that much better. Like
It was so good, man. The Tony Yayo concert, I was elbowing this random stranger with my left elbow. I was like, that's my beat. Listen, stop thinking, stop talking. Listen right now, that's my beat. Listen, yo. I'm elbowing him like, yo, that's my beat right there. I hollered at this guy in a wheelchair. I was like, yo, listen to my beat right there, man. That's me, yo. Yeah, I love it, man. I'm a fan, right? Like, I don't front. I like hip hop. I go to people and I say, yo, I'm a fan of your music. I like this song that you made. I like that song. I want to come support you. What I'm trying to say to you, Eddie GTV, is I'm not a selfish guy, man. At the end of the day, I want to listen to good music. It's actually pretty simple, you know. So when there's other music being played, I want to support, because this generation's really weird. Like before, when we grew up, man, it was like, okay, that guy's got a BMX competition. Oh, I better like bring 30 people with me. Oh, good luck to bring 3 people with you nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And that being said, like going back, like in early hip hop days, like one of the early songs in hip hop was Curse Blow, and it was basketball. We talking basketball. So, like,
yeah, 2 white guys.
Bringing it back to like early hip hop days, I want to bring it back to your early days of making videos for the basketball videos.
Well, oh yeah. So just before I say that, my daughter's 9 years old, man. I'm really happy that I can show things to her and say, this is when I'm starting with my music career. This is the music that I'm making. Let's check it out, because as a father, all you want to do is inspire your kids, you know?
For sure.
And it's the same thing what I used to do with my street ball. So the story to that, I'll just really put it in a nutshell real quick. Again, shout out to Zobi1. You know, I'm going to do the Dime 55, holla at me. I'm from Cambridge, man. Not, 519, just an hour outside of Toronto. That's where I grew up, Cambridge. And our life was all about basketball at the YMCA. Our high school coach hated that we were a bunch of street ballers, man, because he had a successful grade in high school where they went to OFSA, and then my grade came up, and he had to deal with a bunch of like potheads and drinkers, smoking and drinking, playing ball, and just all that, because the YMCA was where it was at, and it was hardcore. You talk about going to other cities and being like, that's a rough area of town. But for us, it was inside the YMCA. There was knives, there was music, there was girls. Like it was a spot. And if you weren't there on a Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, we knew all the runs. So what I'm trying to say is we had the content right there. And I was the first guy in like 1999 to bring a camera out. Nobody had cameras back then. So I had a camera. I'm filming my crew, right? So all my local guys that I play with every day, we all know each other. I'm putting that shit on the internet. And we were using like industry beats. We were using like the Ahmed beat back in the day. I'm not a kid anymore. You know, that song. I'm using a bunch of old stuff. Chaclair. Using all that old stuff. And some dude from Florida named True Baller, my best friend of all time, True fucking Baller, he sent me a VHS tape with all his shit, and I chopped it up. I put it on the computer, and I made some 5-minute internet videos, and we blew up. We blew the fuck up. And1 was just coming out, and it was like, yeah, And1 can travel. Yeah, they can do all that and put out DVDs. You buy the shoes, you get the DVD or the VHS tape at the time. But nah, man. Dime55.com, 3,000 unique people a day to that website. That's like the equivalent of 2 million people. Zobi1 knows. Yeah. We're the Wu-Tang the Street Ball. That's the equivalent of like 2 million people watching your video. You know what I mean? I worked so damn hard to make 5-minute videos, and I had to chop it up and put it in WMV format. We're going way back before YouTube.
Oh wow!
We were so successful, man. I was paying graphic designers to make me websites. I was learning from them. I was chopping up videos. I was making 5-minute videos. I was putting out 3 to 5 videos a week. We got up to like 3,000 people on our .com. All the good footage got saved for our DVD, and I put out 2 full-length, 2-hour DVDs, 2 of them. And we traveled all around North America. My biggest event was in Key West, Florida. We went down there. They put me on the local movie theater with my 2-hour DVD. We sold out the movie theater. We had a basketball tournament in our name. We had a celebrity game in our name. We got girls. We went to a nightclub. They were shouting out Dime 55. It was wild. It was wild. And it grew because they knew AMWIM was popping off, but this local crew picking up dudes from Toronto, Florida,
Yeah.
Arizona, BC. I had guys from age 11 to 23 back in 1999, and we used to hit the streets of Toronto being like, if you take the ball, I'll buy you a drink. We weren't buying nobody a drink. We were out there to get footage, you know?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to, WMV. So what I'm trying to say is Dime 55 is a legendary status. You can Google it right now. DIME55. I got like thousands of videos up. Ask me any questions. We had a very successful clothing line. My partner is a genius. He used to make clothing for all the players, and he was like 10 steps ahead of everybody else. He did the old silk screening. He did the splatter paint. If you look at old Dipset clothing, that was him. That was him. So we were that crew that was always ahead of everybody else, and we we made sure that nobody fucked with us. We were like, we're better than you no matter what. And people try to like fight and do all this shit, and we're like, no, we are the best of the best of the best. So when like Burns is running his crew right now, his self-made, I can see a lot of things he does in the background as a boss, taking on people's different personalities. I had 12 guys that all had different personalities, that some liked me, some didn't, but I kept going forward with the vision. I kept going forward, and it paid off in the end. Like, it's a legendary status that nobody can repeat. And although we weren't the best of the best, we were the best in some things. So it's really respectable when you do things like that, you know. And it all happened at the right time. It was very organic.
So like how good were you in basketball?
I was good enough that I attracted the best of the best. I had all the best from every city. So Toronto, I had all Canadian players that made it to the McDonald's All-American game, but it was the Canadian All-American game at the Hershey Center in Mississauga. Yeah. I had Corey Niles, who was a two-time All-Canadian player. He played at Don Mills. He was like all-time leading scorer. He went over to Italy to play pro ball. I had Oliver Prince, who's from Eastern Commerce, that went with I can't remember the name right now, but he had very successful people he used to play with. He went to Pepperdine in California, in Malibu. I had Ghost, I had Kit Kat, I had True Baller. All these guys were the best in their own city. So when I flew them in, I used to work factory jobs just to pay for hotels and flights, and I'd bring them into different events. And me and my partner would sell T-shirts off our back. Like, we were doing every step that we needed to do to be good. So I was good enough that I said, okay, I don't need to be in front of the camera. I need to be behind the camera so all these people can bring the team up. You know, I established something, and then I moved away, so I'm good enough like that. Like, I could do all the moves. I'm on all the DVDs. I had all my own clips and stuff. I wasn't really a fundamental player. I could do all the left-hand layups and chest passes and all that, but, you know, I'm doing off-the-elbow passes. Everything was inspired by Jason Williams. I was pretty good, but I'm not notable. I'm not notable. You know what I mean? I'm just good enough to establish something. You know what I mean?
Okay. But yeah, like and then you had the because like a lot of players will think, like, they'll keep on thinking like, oh man, I'm this good, blah blah blah. Like, you had the foresight of like saying like, hey, let me get behind the camera, and like, you know.
Correct. Yeah,
like,
I could see that my place was more important behind the camera.
That takes a lot. Like, people don't realize, like, man, like, humbling yourself sometimes. Like, even like with me doing the interviews. Like, I was a rapper first, and I started doing the interviews, and then when I realized my interviews were doing better, I was like, I humbled myself. I was like, okay, you know, like.
Yeah, and you get notoriety with that too. Like, I had girls over at my house because my house was always a party spot, and I lost my virginity editing my Dime footage on the computer. The girl's like, what is that? I'm like, I run a street ball team. She's like, what's street ball? Give me that pussy. like it paid off. I didn't have to be in front of the camera. We used to have like events where we go over to people's houses with a pool, and girls would be running around naked and all that, and I'm just sticking to my vision. I'm trying to make the team good, you know? So, like, you know, you can be a nerd and get some play, you know?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. the right place, the right time, you know, the right vibe.
I'm telling you, man. And when people see that you have something going on that nobody else knows what it is, I can go back to my city in Cambridge right now and shout out Dime 55. I could walk through the Eaton Center in Toronto and somebody will stop me. Like, when I met my wife, she was like, why do all these people come up to you and stop you all the time? Because like Don 55 was the shit. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. We had it going on, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not into the notoriety. I'm real and I know what happens, you know?
Hey, so I'll tell you this funny story about so I was going into work one day. I was getting off the bus, and we were walking up to work, and I was walking with this girl, and she was a pretty girl, right?
Yeah.
And so like we're walking up to work, and a car drives by, and all of a sudden you hear woo, right? And like she actually looks over, and like you can tell like she thinks it's like they're yelling at her, and right after the boo. Eddie G! Eddie G!
You know?
And then right then she was like, what they say? I'm like, oh, they were saying me. I'm like, and I was wearing the shirt. I was wearing a shirt at the time. She's like, oh, like, what's that? And then like, right as soon as she heard that, she was like, oh, what's that? You know, like, because like it was funny how like it was funny how like she automatically thought like those guys were yelling at her. And all of a sudden, they're like, Eddie G! Eddie G! No, they're hollering at me.
That's a good feeling, man. That's when you know all your hard work of doing the nerd shit is paying off. And I know this interview is going along with the street ball stuff, but that took up 10 years of my life, and it really dictates who I am as a person right now.
We definitely got time. Like, we're not worried about time.
Okay, cool, man. I'm having a lot of fun, man. Sorry if I talk so much, man. I'm just really excited to be here. Yeah,
like, so, like, was it hard, like getting cameras and like because I assume not everybody wants to get filmed, and like was it hard getting like footage from certain people and convincing them that this is the thing?
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. I know everybody's used to whipping out their cell phones. What if you had like a camcorder that took actual tapes that
especially
the tapes only have so much length on them, and you got to put in a new tape? And what happens? You lose the tapes, or someone steals it. Someone stole my camcorder, my very best footage of all time. I laid it down right beside me, and there must have been 1,000 people around me, and they fucking snatched that shit. You know, like I put my faith in somebody, and he didn't hold up his end of the bargain, and that footage got stolen. I know what you're talking about, man. I used to go to like rent to own places to drive from Toronto to Detroit just to have 4 cameras on me. I went to a rent to own just to have another camera. You know, like. I know what it's like to lose footage, and that's the worst, man. Like, or you get it like, you'd hand your camera to a girl or a girlfriend or whatever, and what does she do? She's filming like this, and then all of a sudden she's looking, and the camera goes like this. Like you look at the footage and you're like, no way. Like you missed it, you missed it. But nowadays, I mean, if my street ball shit down 55 was in today's generation with drones. They can fly up top. Oh, brother, man. Oh, or live stream it. Oh, man. I was born in the wrong generation, straight up.
I was just watching a video with drones and shit like that, and I was like, I'm like looking at like I'm probably gonna Google like the drones and which one I want to get and stuff like that, because I think I'm gonna invest in a drone.
Yeah. I respect the people that supported us, because I kind of like the fans. I treated them separate than the players, and I didn't give the fans all the respect that they do, because they did a lot for me. But what really happened was they were so inspired by the street ball team that they started doing stuff for their own. Like a name like Chuck Million, the guy that trains all the NBA players to do the dunk comp. He was highly inspired by us, highly. And I respect people that went from the same time when I started and are still going. But I know how much we inspire different people, and it really means a lot to say that, like, the hard work that we put in, and they kept going when we stopped, because I can only go as far as the players that I'm with, right? And they went off to college, they started families, they became rappers and R&B singers, right? And these other people, they were fans of Down 55. They kept going, man. And ultimate respect to the fans that kept going. Like, we have emulating crews in Russia, Chile, Japan that look just like us. There's a True Baller. There's a Kit Kat. There's a Ghost. There's like, different versions of yourself. And it's really cool, man. So they still hit me up and say, hey, can I get this? Can I get that? You raised me. You took me off the streets. I was in trouble. I was doing gangster shit, but I made sure I played ball. You guys saved my life. I've heard that more times than I got fingers. And I'm not just a white boy trying to like big myself up. I'm just trying to say that like you go through certain things in your life, you know, and you really want to inspire people so that I can sit here today and talk about it.
For sure, definitely. That's like a great feeling, and so like I want to talk about like so how do you feel about the dunk contest for this year? Do you see it?
I went to the Steel City Cypher.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
okay, so
caught the highlights, and I was impressed by Mac. He was internet sensation in high school, and I knew he was going to win it because anybody that messes with Chuck Million, who trains these NBA dunkers, they win every year. All you got to do is a couple weeks before, add Chuck Million to Facebook, Instagram, whatever, Team Flight Brothers, shout out to you. That's the winner every fucking year, man, every year, you know? So, yeah, it was an okay year, but I always say that, like, these professional street ball dunkers, they're the real talent. And when the NBA players steal their dunks, that's when you know that your shit paid off. You know what I mean? Like we are the talent. The NBA is just stealing the moves. You know?
Yeah. Probably like I still think like the best dunk contest was probably the Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady.
100%, I totally agree. And us being from the Toronto area, that meant so much more to us that Vince Carter had a Raptor jersey on. It made all the difference in the world, you know. Like my best friend, he put out a documentary and used the Vince Carter jersey. Like, it means a lot when you're from Toronto, and Toronto's now getting the notoriety that we should have got back in 1995, 2005. I've went through it all, man. I've been through the bad times, and now it's paying off. Like, Drake just didn't come out of nowhere. Like, we were there before, you know, putting in the work.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
So like how early in like life was like basketball? Like, was it like something you picked up like super early, or was it late?
Good question, man. Good question. I was in grade 7. And I made the basketball team, and I never let go. I tried to make every basketball team, and the coach used to cut me. I get mad at him. I threw my jersey at him. I called him a fuckboy. I changed schools. I draped the coach up. I went to a different school out in the country, and I was the man. I was on the yearbook, everything. I stepped in. I led the team in every stat. And this fucking retard, yo, he didn't put me on the All-Star team. And I found him in the hallway, and I draped him up against the lockers, and I got kicked out of school. Basketball was my life, like totally my life. And unfortunately, right now, I got some real physical issues with my back, and I can't even run down the street. So yeah, basketball is everything for me. And now music, I put my hobby in music, and I use a lot of the things that I use in basketball into music now, straight up.
So are we ever gonna get the best of both worlds, where we get you doing getting people together for basketball videos, but putting your beats to the videos?
I think that ship sailed. I think everybody can control their own destiny, and there's too saturated right now that anybody that wants to run a basketball tournament can get everything that I offer them. It would have been great. I know my claim to fame was when I ran the street ball team. We got hit up by EA Sports to do NBA Street Volume 1 to do the motion capture out in Chicago, and I couldn't afford to fly 12 guys to Chicago off of earning $9 an hour at a factory or something, you know what I mean? So if the stars all aligned, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. But I know that what I did in a nutshell is good, and I don't want to replicate it. I don't want to keep it going. I just want to let it live the way it is and talk about it like I am today. And if people need some beats for whatever their project is, I can respect that. But trying to mix my old world with my new world, that ship sailed.
Yeah. So are we ever gonna hear a Millz Grillz rap on a Millz Grillz beat?
Never, bro. Never. I can't even rap along to what I hear on the radio, man. I'm so vocally incompetent. My favorite group of all time is Mobb Deep, and you think I know every word for word, and I butcher it, man. I'm no good on the mic. I won't front. True Baller brought all his studio equipment with him when he came up to Toronto, and I got on his mic, and I recorded some stuff, and it's so super embarrassing, and I deleted it a couple years ago, and I want nobody ever to hear Millz T Mill, Todd Miller. I want nobody to hear me on the mic. Like, I'll make some beats and fall back in the background and let you shine. I don't want to be on the mic, man. There's too many talented people out there for me to take their spot.
Okay, and also like are you gonna stick to just songs? Or are you gonna try and get like music and commercials? Like, would you be interested in doing scores?
Yeah, great question. Shout out to Jay Steels. He offered me an opportunity to do a score for TV production, which is totally different than music. You have to have all kinds of different credentials. And I went down that road and I got signed up for a bunch of stuff and I submitted my music and never heard back. And although it discouraged me from trying again, I think stick to what you're good at. I'm getting some notoriety for what I'm doing right now. Why try and get into every single thing when you could just stick to what you're doing? So although it would be really cool to do some video game, do some movies, do some TV, do some commercials, that sounds cool. But there's a lot of people out there, and I only have a certain amount of time in the day, and I enjoy what I'm doing. So probably to answer your question, I'm probably not going to do TV or anything like that.
Okay. And like, who have you met at the shows that like you're like, yo, this rapper is dope, but he hasn't rapped on your beat yet?
That was Mr. Burns until he rapped on my beat. That was Mr. Burns. Actually, to answer your question, is True Baller. He was a franchise player for Dime 55. After Street Ball, he became a rapper. He tours. He's got a bus with his face on the side of the bus, and we're still brothers. We talk all the time. And I hit him up last week, and he's like, "Yo, send me a 10-pack." I was like, "I've been waiting all this time for True Baller to say, Millz, I want you to do some music with me," because every time he hits me up, he goes, "Whoa, you're better than I thought." He goes, "I never thought that would come out of you." So yeah, probably True Baller would be the guy that I'm really super excited to hear on my beats. So if you Google True Baller TV, you'll see what I'm talking about. He's a monster, yo. He's a monster. So yeah, probably True Baller or just the unknown. Maybe there's somebody I haven't talked to that is that guy. You know, when I did the Steel City Cypher in October, it was held under a bridge and it was super ghetto. And I invited so many people that said yes, they're coming, and they never came. So there was a couple people on that list that didn't come, and I'm sharp, yo. I remember everything, and I want those people on it.
For that one right there, when I was underneath the bridge, that's the first time I took the spray paint, and I did my Eddie G tag in spray paint, like very first time ever doing that.
I'm looking forward to going back and seeing that tag because I haven't been down there since the Cypher, and I just been procrastinating. That was an awesome day. That was an incredible day. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented people in Hamilton, Brantford. I wouldn't say Toronto because just you know what it's like. Hamilton, we're doing our thing. Toronto's doing their thing. So we can put in Kitchener. We can put in Niagara. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to working with new people. And my goal when I started this year was to just build relationships with new people. That's my whole thing. I'm never satisfied with one person. I always want to meet new people. You know.
Yeah, like new people are awesome.
New people are awesome.
Man, like there's so many people in the world. Like, how are we gonna like be like, oh, you know, like.
You know what would be really exciting is I have respect for everybody. I would like to rap. I would like to submit beats to a disabled rapper, like that guy Blind Fury that can't see because he's blind.
Dope. Yeah, he's dope.
I would love to do with people that have a physical disability that are really masterminds of something else. Yeah. That would be really cool, man. That would mean actually the most to me if I can get somebody disabled that are really good at rapping. That would mean a lot, man. I respect a lot of people.
You know what? Usually, if you're disabled in one area, there's usually something else that you're like that you excel in. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like the whole thing of like when you're blind, you can hear better. You know?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly it.
Like all that shit. Like and like I hate when people use it like things for an excuse. Oh, I got this. Blah blah blah. Like yeah, but there's something else in you.
Yeah. You know? Or the people that got it going on and say, "Oh, I couldn't make it because I had to work." Well, book the day off work. You know. We just want to do what we love to do, and I'm not a guy that makes excuses. When Eddie G said 6 o'clock Friday, shit, I was ready at 5:30. You know?
For sure. For sure. And definitely I appreciate that. Like, definitely. And yeah, we'll go for a little bit. So is there anything like that the people need to know?
Yes.
Sorry, Ed, what were you saying?
Is there anything like that the people need to know, like what's coming up?
Okay.
Here you go.
Updates.
Hey,
Like,
I want to introduce the world to the world famous Sophia. This
Hi.
girl's gonna make something really big in her life. She's gonna be good at whatever she does. This is a future lawyer right here. If you get in trouble,
No.
she's gonna help you out. She's gonna help you out. Okay, Sophia. Okay, Sophia. Anyways, so yeah, Eddie, just repeat the question one more time, please.
Yeah. So is there anything like the people need to know, like updates on what's going on? Steel City Cypher beats. Where can they add you for beats? Where can they hear the beats? All that.
Yeah, I'll let the cat out the bag a little bit. I like the coin. I made my own phrase. I'm gonna let the cat out the bottle, because once the cat gets out the bottle, he can't get back in the bottle. I'm working with a couple Hamilton MCs right now that I got EPs with, a little 5-track EP. I got more than one. I got more than one doing a little EP with me, so I'm very excited. You will hear Millz Grillz throughout 2023 more than once, because I'm working in the background to get attached to other people, and we're putting out some work this year. Actually, this Sunday we're filming a music video for a project that I'm working on with a bunch of MCs, and then I got a couple of other EPs after that. And I'm not satisfied, man. Eddie G, I want to meet new people, man. Like I really respect that I've locked it in with a couple people, but I'm not satisfied. I want to still work with other people. So I was talking to Burns yesterday, and the Steel City Cypher at CFMU live and direct with Jay Steels is going excellent. And we're actually going to introduce a new producer. So Millz Grillz is getting off the tour in a respectful way. No disrespect to myself, no disrespect to the team. There's another opportunity for me that I'm been called up for via Mr. Burns, and I'm going to make the most of that. So
Nice.
Just know that I'm going to do a couple more ciphers at CFMU, and then we're going to introduce a couple new producers. Because the whole theory that he was running with before is every month he's going to have a new producer to put their beats out, right? So what I would say is, Millz Grillz, you're going to catch some EPs. You're going to catch some music videos, and you're going to catch some club appearances, and you're going to catch some things that I don't even know what I'm talking about right now, because the year is still pretty young.
For sure. For sure. All right. I appreciate you. And everybody check out Millz Grillz Beats. And yeah, and we out. Eddie G TV.
All day. Thank you.
All right.
Respect.
Respect. Peace.
Peace.